What's up, guys? Johnny Gomes here, your host, two-time World Series champ. And we got a cool one for you today, the College World Series edition. And yes, we have Paul and Christian here to join and get a lot of insight from Tennessee as long as Texas A&M. And the time is hot right now in the College World Series, so let's get right into it. How about a quick little intro? Paul Phillips, can you give us a little bio? Tell the people what you're up to. Tell them what you've done. We have crossed paths a few times, but let the people know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So good to be here today. You know, I played 15 years of professional baseball, parts of 7 in the big leagues. I played against Johnny, tried to get him out. You know, me being a catcher, him being an unbelievable hitter. It was just a pain in my side, you know, just always trying to get him out. But so, you know, when I finished playing, I went into coaching. I coached 3 years of Division I baseball at Lipscomb University here in Nashville. And then I went back to pro ball and was a AAA hitting coach for the Marlins for a season in 16. And then 17, 18 was a catching coordinator. That's right when I started to come on board at S2 in the middle of 2018 to come full-time here to kind of head up the Diamond Sports division here over at S2.
Pretty cool. Thank you so much. S2, of course, lucky to have you. Christian, how about a quick bio? We're getting into some Tennessee. I know you got some roots there.
Yeah, my journey started at Tennessee when I was 18. Got there in 2018, 2019, and been there for 5 years. Got to see the program grow from start to finish, and I love to see what Coach V is doing with that program. And yeah, I've been around the sport for about 20 so years, coaching, giving lessons, all that good stuff, and just to see the growth of athletes.
Thank you so much. My gosh, probably got close to 100 years of experience between us three. So pretty good group here. And of course, let's dive into some College World Series. Tennessee Vols, led by this man right here. And we did see that infamous cycle in the regionals, I think, or the semifinals. Is there anything you can share with us? I know you guys work, hand in hand with Tennessee and really involved. So I'm sure he's taking your test. Is there anything that stands out or anything you can share to get us more excited about this guy?
Well, man, I can tell you one thing. You know, you don't have bat to ball like this without good cognitive skills. I can tell you that. So, without diving into giving you any of his results or anything like that, it's not a secret that players that find the barrel as often as he does probably has some really high cognitive skills. You just don't hit like this. It's not a fluke, right? You have to bring something to the table on the cognitive side for you to be able to have bat to ball like this so consistently. It's not a hoax. And it's not a fluke that he's able to do what he's doing without having high cognitive processing skills.
Yeah, that's such a breath of fresh air. I mean, we always like the best player on the field to also be the hardest working guy, the smartest guy. That's not always the case, but what a breath of fresh air for Tennessee and whoever grabbed this guy in the draft, that they are getting a dog for sure.
Dude, absolutely. Christian, you've been around this guy. I mean, talk about how much this guy works at it.
He cares about the game so much. I remember when he first came in as a freshman, I heard this kid from Brooklyn, New York was coming in, and I didn't know that he was going to be my roommate. And so he walks in, he's like, it's time to get to it, boys. I was like, what are you talking about? You just got here. Let's relax. And, from day one, he's always been, a grinder, wanting to get after it in the cages, looking for ways to get better. And so it was kind of cool just to welcome him in as an older guy on the team, and just to see his growth as a player is, tremendous. Because, it's rare you got guys who are willing to actually put in countless of hours to be great at something. Some guys that are blessed with tools, they kind of just, use it as a God-given talent and don't further those tools. So with him, it's kind of cool to see him sharpen his tools a little bit and, play to his best of his ability. But yeah, just to, like I said, to see his growth and everything, man, he's a true dog, and now he's a leader because he learned from the guys before him. And he kind of took bits and pieces from everybody and put it all into one. And then the play shows for itself too.
Yeah, and there's one thing that's sticking out so far is the big lights aren't too bright for him. I mean, he's shining in these big games, that's for sure.
And that's another thing with him. So I want to say majority of the time when we were down in a ball game or he had to pinch hit, he got the job done. And after games, I'd be like, what were you thinking right there? Because I like to pick his brain and stuff. He was like, honestly, dude, he is like, I'm just a fighter. I'm a fight for the team. And he's like, I was just thinking, foot down, get your foot down. I was like, okay, get your foot down. Got it. But, guys think differently. But for him, that was his thing. I have to get my foot down. And as you can see, he stays on his legs super well. And his bat-to-ball skills are good, too.
Yeah, get your foot down and get that thing singing. That's a pitcher's nightmare, that's for sure. You guys worked a lot with Tennessee. I'm sure watching that growth on the cognition side, and I don't think it's too far-fetched that the team that you were working for finds himself in the World Series. What stands out in a cognition kind of way from some of these athletes that you guys test?
One of the things that you can tell people that have, high cognitions, not necessarily across the board, but especially in certain systems, you'll start to see some patience. Players that have very good control over their impulses, they look very patient in the box. They're not going after everything. We know that impulse control is one of the leading contributors to chase rates. And so when you see these players staying in the zone, not going outside the zone, well, that's led to also from trajectory prediction, which is your ability to understand where a pitch is going to cross through space, right? And so knowing where to swing, knowing when to swing, and knowing whether or not you should swing, when people and players are training those things and getting better at that, you just start seeing higher quality at bats. If we know chasing comes from impulse control and you're chasing high fastballs and we teach you how to lay off the high fastball better, that doesn't mean that you're not going to jump off sides in football. Doesn't mean that you're not going to bite on a juke move in soccer. We're trying to link that brain system up to how you need to use it in a specific way, which is batting, which is not chasing high fastballs or sliders in the dirt or whatever that nemesis pitch may be. And you can literally work on that, strengthen that brain system and go and use it. And man, you know how much better we are if we're buying back 30, 40 pitches in a season? One hit in a series, in a professional series, one extra hit takes you from 250 to 300. That's a huge amount of leverage when it comes time for contract, right?
Yep.
You buy back some at bats by making sure that you're not chasing as much. Man, you're winning.
That's it. That's a recipe for success right there, right? Swinging at strikes and taking balls. Everything else will take care of itself. The movie's already been made if you do that. You just got to press play.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, another really, really exciting talent going down the stretch. Brandon Montgomery rolls his ankle, can't play in the College World Series, but everyone else, Texas A&M, stepped it up. But Braden Montgomery, a transfer from Stanford to A&M. So if you're transferred from Stanford, you got some IQ upstairs as well, and you're not just a rock chomper. But you got any highlights or any insights on this young man? I don't think he's going to be wearing a college uniform very much longer. He's going in that draft real high as well.
You want to talk about bat-to-ball skills as well? Guys hitting 322, 27 home runs, 85 RBIs, and he's not even playing in the College World Series to further those stats.
Yep.
You have another hitter. It just seems like these guys, they're just, they seem like they're everywhere, but yet we all know how hard it is to hit. Man, these guys are doing something special.
Yeah, this guy too. I was at the Pac-10 championship or Pac-12 championship last year, and this guy cleared the batter's eye at the Giants Stadium. And I remember just looking around, being like, he's not going to be in a Stanford uniform much longer. Not with this transfer portal and this NIL action. This guy, he seems like he's already been drafted to Texas A&M, and they got a ball player out of him.
I can relate to that, being a former player from Alabama. I went to the University of Alabama in 98. 97, Roberto Vaz stepped on a ball, broke his ankle, didn't get to play in the College World Series. Probably one of the best players, on that team. They had one of the best teams they'd had in a long time. That 97 team in the College World Series just missed out just a little bit just because they're missing one of their key players. And, man, this is, the way that the Aggies are playing right now without their best player. There's something to be said about that, but man, it sure probably would be a whole lot easier for them if they had him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing that you see a lot of in college is there is a lot of depth, right? In the big leagues, when you lose your ace or you lose your star guy in the outfield or your shortstop, there is a pretty big hole. But college does have some depth, but my gosh, they are missing this guy. Christian and Paul, thank you so much for your time and joining us here Wow, how about Tennessee? You guys have worked hand in hand with Tennessee. Not a coincidence that they were able to bring home a title back to Knoxville. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Really lucky to have you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys.
College baseball is now in its off season, but we're not done. So if you like this, go ahead and like and subscribe and follow along for all these.